What's this? We got the boss at the end of this area. Minion Mayhem. What the heck is this? Guess we're not getting any cutscenes for this post-game stuff anymore. Was there any reason for me to stream this game anymore? Is there even any more like cutscenes? I know that there was for like the... Oh my goodness, that is a lot of waves. Thank goodness I'm over leveled. Oh boy, oh boy. Anyway, so this is all the stuff that I'm trying to sort out with my university classes. Like the main thing that I need to work on a lot being, I guess the main thing would actually be the computing science stuff, but the main one that like I could be passionate about focusing on is this game design one. There's a game development one where we still haven't come up with a title for our game yet, but we're working on that. We're working on a title and such. But essentially, we're trying to figure out exactly what direction we're going to be taking the fundamentals, like the music and stuff like that. I had a little bit of an argument with the music guy because he thinks that Breath of the Wild is a masterpiece and I hate the game, so a little bit of butting heads there, you know. But yeah, asking me how I've been tacos or to Anima there. And Kraken, you have a 91 in calculus now. I wish I could say the same when I was in calculus and in high school or in university. I did it in my first year of university as well, so I technically did calculus twice. Yeah, Breath of the Wild is a great open world game, but yeah, definitely not a Zelda game. Like, I say that I hate Breath of the Wild mostly because I dislike how many people like throw the title of masterpiece around at it just because the gameplay is fun. Like, I'd probably hate it less if there weren't as many 10 out of 10s and masterpieces. I feel like that might skew my opinion a little bit, is my disagreement with that term so much. But like, even I, somebody who claims to hate the game, have to admit, in terms of gameplay, it's the best Legend of Zelda game I've ever played, actually. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm a Zelda fan who's not meant to be a Zelda fan. Like, there have been some games in the series that have just failed to hook me. Like Wind Waker or Twilight Princess, for example. Like, those games had solid soundtrack, like Wind Waker in particular, and some solid stories, Twilight Princess in particular. But like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like the gameplay just isn't for me. Like, a lot of the times people who play Zelda games see like the dungeons, for example, as like one of the best parts, like the puzzle solving in that. To me, the dungeons are like a kind of tedious obstacle to get through that I don't really like all that much, whereas most people like it the most. So it's like, oh, maybe I'm not meant to be a Legend of Zelda fan, you know? So, you know. Oh my goodness, so rude. But yeah, my favorite game in the series is Skyward Sword. Like, and there are plenty of other games in this series that I quite like. Like, I quite enjoyed Ocarina of Time. I quite enjoyed Link to the Past. I 100%ed that on my phone in high school. And let me tell you, the Ice Temple was so hard on a D-pad touchscreen. Oh boy. But anyway, yeah, Skyward Sword I really like the dungeons of. But like the ones in Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, they couldn't quite hook me all that much. So like Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, I beat both of them just so that I could say that I beat them. Like, not because it was like fun enough for me to get through that, and I wanted to, like, you know, experience the rest of the story, even though I already knew what happened. Like, I just wanted to be able to say that I beat them so I can have a valid opinion on them. But there were some parts where I felt like I had to force myself through them. And your favorite Zelda game is Link Between Worlds. Link Between Worlds is so good. One day I want to stream that game. One day I will. For sure. But yeah, tacos, you're doing fine yourself. Just spent like an hour playing Demon's Crest on Switch Online. Game is Mondo Righteous, but it's hard as hell and you're stuck on this one boss fight. Well, as long as you believe hard enough, you can do it. Heck, if a long-haired idiot like me could beat Undyne on the genocide route with oven mitts, then I'm sure you can beat that boss in Demon's Crest. Don't you worry. Anyway, some Zelda games have failed to hook me, but like Breath of the Wild, honestly, it had the most fun and engaging gameplay in the series. Like, it has a very unique way of tackling its world exploration with how open world it was, and giving you all your abilities, most of your abilities, I should say, like right off the get-go. So it's like you can basically go into any challenge from there. Like, they might be really hard, but there's nothing that stops you. And it's a very unique formula and something like really cool, actually, quite frankly. Like, it was probably, there have only been 2 games that have done this before. Oh, dang it, the slow-mo mistimed it. So, there's something that a game can potentially do where it's like, it lays out a massive world for you to explore. And when you're not playing the game, it feels like the world is calling out to you to explore. There have only been 2 games that have ever done that for me. Breath of the Wild, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Those are the 2 games that have ever done that for me, where it's like, when I'm like deep into that game and I'm not in the middle of playing it at the time, like I'm just in the middle of living like my day-to-day life, it feels like that world is calling out to me to explore. Like, man, like I wonder what I can go out and explore today, you know? Xenoblade X is a good game. You were debating on booting that up today. Yeah, that was one of the earliest games I started streaming, but like I never continued it. So that was like one of the first playthroughs I started, and like one of the only playthroughs that I never finished. But I also can't continue it now because my Wii U save data. Do I have it in this drawer here? I might have. Oh yeah, I totally do, because my save data for it is on this USB stick. Guess what? There's no way I'm gonna be using that thing anymore. I've tried. I even have like the broken end off of it. Like, I've tried. I put that on, I slide it in, but no, it doesn't work. So my Xenoblade Chronicles X save data and like my near 100% thing, I got to like 95% completion on Xenoblade X before quitting, and I grinded for so long to have an insanely overpowered like TP recovery Blossom Dance overdrive build. So, you know, I'm kind of sad about that. So if I ever did stream Xenoblade Chronicles X again, I'd have to start from the beginning, which might not be a bad thing considering I was like a brand new streamer back then and my quality sucked. But, you know, I'm still a bit sad about that. But anyway, the only 2 games ever where it's like, if I'm in the middle of like a playthrough of it, or like exploring it in post-game content where it feels like the world is calling out to me, like I gotta go and explore that world, like there's so much to do, I gotta get right back into that world. Only 2 games that have done that for me are Breath of the Wild and Xenoblade X. So like at the end of the day, I guess maybe I don't like hate the game. Like its gameplay is something like special to me at the end of the day, but you know, Tacos, there's a skeleton boss that you fought earlier who beat you like 5 times. Then you use the Earth quest at 1 in 15 seconds. Nice. Alright, so there's a new quest at Bowser's Castle now. Whoops. Like, the big reason why I hate Breath of the Wild is because it let me down harder than any other game before. Like, looking at the trailers, for example. Hold on, I'm ranting now. Hold on, now I'm giving a rant. Where's my freaking desktop layout? I guess I have my Dead by Daylight one, or I can switch to my playthrough one. The boss of the game put you down? Yeah, when it comes to gameplay, there wasn't a whole lot in terms of gameplay for Breath of the Wild that put me down, except for the bosses. Yeah, pretty much just the bosses. Like, they were way too easy. The final boss was a joke and the most anticlimactic thing ever. Anyway, let's see here. When do I have this? Let's have a look at this here, for example. My biggest complaint with Breath of the Wild is that when playing the game, I never felt this. Like, this trailer here with the music is so unbelievably epic. Like, this has been one of the, like, Breath of the Wild before it came out was one of my most hyped games, like, ever before it came out. Like, looking at this, I thought it would be like a musical masterpiece of a game. And I thought the story was gonna be absolutely breathtaking. This music, this trailer theme is one of the best musical themes I've ever heard. I'm gonna be frank. So after hearing this, like, remix of the main Zelda theme, which, yeah, I will say that it's probably one of the best, like, remixes slash covers I've ever heard. Like, it's absolutely staggering. Here I was going into this expecting it to be a complete masterpiece, but then all it has for it is it's fun to play, which can't be a bad thing. Like, there are some games where all they should really have going for them is gameplay. Like Smash Bros, for example. You don't expect to go into that and have like a breathtaking story, or a story at all in most cases, or like multiplayer games like Dead by Daylight, for example. I sometimes stream that. I don't go into that expecting like good story and music. I just go into there to have a good time. But with those trailers, I was going into that expecting to be blown away. And then throughout my entire gameplay there, I never once felt that epicness. So at the end of the day, I do kind of hate Breath of the Wild because it does let me down harder than any other game has before. But yeah, there's only one boss that pleased you, and it was the DLC final boss. That was the only good one. I started playing the DLC because like I bought it early on, so I was like, I paid for this, may as well do it. But it was just so boring, I couldn't continue. But yeah, Blight Ganon's being the only real boss that were lame, but you liked all the other ones. Breath of the Wild 2 is probably going to go ham with the story because that was a big complaint with the first one. I hope so. I am worried about the second one. Hopefully they flesh out the story and the music more. Like, hopefully that one will surprise me. But yeah, also, the story of Breath of the Wild was like such a joke. It was like, oh, Ganon took control of these divine beasts. Link was injured and he has to sleep for 100 years. What do? Go get the divine beasts back. And it's like, what the heck? Ganon took them once before. Why can't he just do it again? It's not like there's anybody defending it anymore. It's just spooky ghosts that can't do anything. If he sends like so much as like one bokoblin over there again, what are they gonna do? Like, what a joke of a story. Like, why doesn't he just take them back again? He did it once before and this second time around, there wasn't even anybody defending it anymore. Just a spooky ghost in each of them. Like, the plot makes zero sense. It's one of the stupidest plots I've ever seen in my life. Man, oh man. Anyway, is this the final stage here? Yeah, like, I guess 90% of it does happen before the game begins. But, like, it wasn't... Like, it was a little bit intriguing, but it failed to have the real hook there. But I get it. It's an open world game, and it can be difficult to tell, like, the majority of the story as events that took place before the game took place. And, like, I heard that the game was going to be open world, so I was willing to give it a little bit of leeway for this story. Like, looking at Breath of the Wild, it's like, okay, it's an open world game. How stories work is they're linear. Like, event A happens, event B happens. Like, it happens in a line like that. And the nature of open world is non-linearness. So the moment you have an open world game, the story naturally falls apart. So I was willing to go into that with like that leeway for the story, at least, where it's like, okay, maybe it might not be the best thing ever, because how can you write a good story and also have it be open world? But the music's inexcusable. Like, hold on, where's this one? Where is this one that I linked here when I was giving my rant earlier with my group there? Like, the final boss theme, for example. This is the one place that they actually reused the trailer theme, which, like, they could have used the trailer theme throughout the game. Like, I love it when games reuse tunes, and that trailer theme was so legendary. The Breath of the Wild soundtrack would have been so incredible if they actually, like, reused that tune as a recurring main theme throughout the game. And they call it the main theme, even though it's a trailer theme and it doesn't exist anywhere in the game except for here in the final boss, where they get somebody having a seizure on the piano in the background, who I'm genuinely concerned for. Like, it's not even in time with the foreground. Freaking... It's like somebody was it's like they were in a recording studio and somebody was having like a seizure on the piano in the background, and they were just like ignoring him, letting him be. Like, we only have one take of this, we ship next week. We gotta rush this out. Like, that's what it feels like. Like, when does the piano start getting crazier? What even is this? Like, when games reuse tunes is incredible. Like, for example, if you reuse in the final boss theme a theme that you've been hearing throughout the game, like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon 2, for example, with the do 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 do, or Xenoblade Chronicles 2, for example, the do 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 do. Like, that's briefly used in the final boss theme, played in a slightly different way. But in Breath of the Wild, what's the point of using that as a tune if it's not used prior in the game? Like, the whole point of reusing tunes is to give you like the same feel, that you're like part of the same experience, but like things have changed now. So like when you hear a tune that you've been hearing throughout the game, it gives you a reminder that like this is the end of your journey, like this is a culmination of everything up to this point, and it gives you a reminder of your journey like, thus far. But in Breath of the Wild, what's the point of reusing the trailer theme? To remind you, wow, that was a cool trailer, wasn't it? Like, it's the most pointless and stupid thing. But yeah, they can do an Elder Scrolls kind of thing where the main quest story is whatever, the side quests are where the really good story bits are. I guess they could have. I think the Insane Piano is supposed to be like the Guardian theme that starts playing with the piano going insane, but like, it's not even in time with the foreground at some points. Especially when the piano guy goes, do-do-do, do-do-do, and it's like, what the heck? You don't like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Final Boss theme? Banned. Timed out for 1 second. Hold on. / timeout Kraken style 1. Bam. Timed out for 1 second. For some reason, Twitch still puts that in plural. Like, the final boss theme of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 there is also really good at reusing tunes. Like, where's like the one thing? Apparently I never closed this one down. Like, hold on. It's called After Despair and Hope, I believe it's something like that. Whoops, sorry. What the heck is this? Anyway here, where's the part where it reuses counterattack? Like, there are parts like this that are perfect at symbolizing, like, this is the finale kind of thing. Like, we're facing off against a big bad. Like, they did it so much better than Xenoblade Chronicles 1, its final boss theme, which is kind of, like, fitting, but not memorable at all. Like this part coming up here, this is counterattack that they throw into the final boss theme as well. So when you reuse tunes like that, it's actually symbolic of like your journey beforehand, because that tune is used in several different places. Like for example here, it can be played in an, I haven't played this in a long time, but it can be played in a kind of epic way, like in Counterattack, where it's like, nope, I haven't played this in a long time. How did it go again? Wow, I can't even remember Counterattack, but I know from there it goes like... I'm so rusty. Ooh. So like there's parts like that where it's played so epically, and by the way, that tune also uses the most brilliant use of a key change in chapter 3, where it's like, if I can remember the basic part, and that key changes. Ooh. I don't know the key change apparently, but anyway, the transition to the key change in chapter 3 is pretty incredible, but I've given that rant before, let's not do that one right now. But anyway, the reusing of the tune, it can be played in an epic way in Counterattack, where it's like, or it can be played a lot more sadly, like during some of the slower themes, like when the characters are really down on themselves, like. Oop, too long since I played this. So like it's a clear recurring tune there. So whenever you hear it, it gives you like a reminder of your adventure up to that point. In that, my transitions aren't working here apparently, but reusing tunes in that way, and then say incorporating it into a final boss theme, kind of like this. It serves as like an audible reminder of your adventure up to that point, and serves as like symbolism that this is the finale. But with Breath of the Wild, you know, reusing the trailer theme, what's that supposed to serve as a reminder of? That was a good trailer? Like, maybe I do hate Breath of the Wild at the end of the day. It's just so pointless in so many ways, like... It's like, it could have been so incredible, but instead it just wasn't. The thing that if I'm gonna be quite blunt, the thing that I hate most about Breath of the Wild is how blatantly people throw 10 out of 10s and masterpieces at it just because it's fun to play. It's a masterpiece. You know, that's what I hate the most. But in game, there's a final boss theme that reuses a lot of music, well as Bravely Default. Yeah, Bravely Default, I wish it wouldn't take as long to get to that part, but after, like, I think it's like 3 or 4 minutes into the track when it starts incorporating each of the main 4 characters' own themes one by one, like perfectly transitioning there. But yeah, Revo's an amazing composer and did not compose Second. Don't think Second does that, but if it does, you didn't know. It's because a lot of the new music in Second sounds samey to you. I think Second might have done that, and I really like the final boss theme to Bravely Second as well. Like, I really like the music of Bravely Second in general as well. Like, a lot of it was reused from Default, but even the new themes that they put in there, like Magnolia's theme, for example, is just like so